So today I'm going to do a little igniter integration test. I've got some of my components here just sort of set up on top of the brew stand temporarily in order to do this igniter test. So let me just give you a brief tour of what we're looking at here. This is the innards of the control panel, which will eventually go on this bar right here and connect to those wires. It's under construction. I'm waiting on some parts now for the new faceplate and displays, switches and such. So it's just sitting there on the rig at this point. This is the newly redesigned and newly functional electrical control box. This is where all the AC power is. My DC power supplies are in there. The relays to control my pumps and of course the igniters and my gas valves. Everything's in that box, and I've rigged up this switch panel. This is the back of the old former, if you will, control panel, and those switches, this is the back side of it. Those switches were intended as just manual overrides for all the relays that are in the control box. And I've mocked it up this way because the electronics aren't quite prepared yet to control the relays, so I'll do it manually using this little mock-up box. The second button from the right there is the one I'll be using. That's the hot liquor ton burner igniter relay control. Inside the box, the relay, I think it's like the second from the right, a black relay there, is the one for the burner, or for the burner igniter rather, that we'll be testing. And it'll follow cables. Once that relay closes, it'll send 5 volts down these cables to this device, which I found on SparkFun Electronics. It's a spark gap igniter. Basically, it's a high voltage transformer with a bunch of electronics in there, I suppose, in order to boost that 5 volt DC input signal and I create a spark, high voltage spark, low current, that runs then down through that white wire, which is a high temp wire, to that probe right there, which is I think it's from Ferguson Industries. It's just basically a wire probe, and that'll create a spark between the end of that probe and the burner itself, and that's what will ignite our gas eventually. So let me show you how this works. All I'm going to do is I'm going to press the button, and you'll see the spark. Quite a large spark. It can generate a ½ inch spark. I don't need that much, but you see it's quite a hot spark. So I'll probably screw up the sound here. I'll get a little closer. So I believe that's going to be plenty hot enough to actually ignite my gas. By the way, the electrical control box will normally go right there in the bottom of the rack between those gas regulators and valves, between the pumps. Didn't mention that earlier. So anyway, that's my spark gap igniter test with the integration of the electrical control box and power supply that's on the control panel.